See y'all
Oh,
3-2.
you can? Yeah, I don't got that.
Hey,
Let's
Keith,
see if I can
Keith,
figure it
no, hey, Keith, don't start recording yet.
out.
Yeah, because right now it's gonna be a lot of like garbage time.
Oh, when that boy come out? You do?
Hey, come on. Hey, I'm about to start now, y'all. Just so everybody know.
That the kids ain't on that, is it?
So I gathered y'all on so we can all talk about like some of the things that's been going on here with with the protests, with the police brutality, with the looting, and like what it all means, and just basically get y'all thoughts on everything. You dig?
Mm-hmm.
So this how we gonna do it, just so it's like so everybody's not talking over everybody. We're gonna go. I'm gonna ask the question, then we're gonna go Keith, Chuck, Kev, Jordan. Cool.
Works for me.
Cool. Let's do it.
All right. So
Let's go.
All right. So y'all can still see me, right? Everybody can still see me.
No.
Nope.
Yeah, you
I'll
connected
see y'all.
twice, but it's all good.
Well,
see
hold on, is
everybody
it the
but
next
you.
one? Okay, I can see now on the other one. I can see you, Mark, but I can't see anybody else.
We gonna be in this motherfucker too. Feel me?
Just swipe to the right.
Yeah, I did that, but now it's just Mark and nobody else.
All right.
he never did
I
it
got
before.
So the first question is so we all know what the protest and everything was about. We don't need to go there, do we? I don't think we do. But
No.
okay, so I would like to ask the question, well, like, why do y'all think the protesting turns into riot and looting? Why do y'all think that happens?
Well, I would like to say first that it did not turn to rioting and looting. That's a media narrative that's going on. There was a small percentage of rioters and looters, but that's the bigger story that the main media outlets want to run with. But to address why it happened, I would just say just because, it's an opportunity for people to do that. There's people that, probably really just wait for some shit to jump off so they could do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
Shit, me, I think the motherfuckers who doing that are just totally different people. They going down there specifically for that shit. They ain't the protesting people that's doing that. I mean, I don't know though. I ain't down there, but I think it's two separate, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Shit. They probably trying to blend in with them, but they down there to just take some shit. And I ain't gonna lie, maybe if I was done, I'd be taking some shit too.
Right.
How old are you, Chuck?
Kevin,
36.
you finna go?
Yeah, I'll go. Honestly, like I'm gonna say this, like, so I think that taking the emotion of people that actually where it turned into something heated, I think taking that out is kind of a mistake. And the reason that I'll say that, I'll be real honest with you, the people the most of the people that I've seen that are saying that the protesters and the rioters and looters are different are trying to talk to people who are condemning, like especially white people that are like, well, it was okay until the protesters or the looting and the rioting started, then I fell off. It's like, well, look, you were going to fall off anyway, so why do we need to explain that to them? You know what I'm saying? We don't need to explain it to people who are in that mindset. They were mad when Colin Kaepernick protested because of quote unquote the flag, and and then people are trying to like, well, it wasn't about the flag. It's like, well, yeah, it was, because he did it at the time of the national anthem, because he was saying there's hypocrisy in what they're trying to get us to do. They want us to stand. They want us to put our hands over our hearts in a country that doesn't care about the struggle of Black people. So to take the looting and the rioting, I say maybe the looting out, but to take the rioting part of it out and to take the fact that it was about the anthem out, I think is almost like playing a little bit of respectability politics, because you're doing it for people that don't care. Trust me, they don't care. And they're not, whether or not it's allowed, like it's not going to be like, well, it wasn't about the flag, and people be like, oh, it wasn't about the flag? Well, okay, I understand now. Or it wasn't about the looting and the rioting? Oh, okay, I get it now.
Because if it wasn't about the flag, then now it's about the military. What about the military? Now you disrespecting
they're going to always find a reason. So the main thing is the protest. The protest is wrong. They want black folks to go through this shit in this country and don't say anything about it. Just hopefully your peace and love is gonna let people eventually like be like, okay, yeah, okay. You know what? You didn't say anything about the times where I mistreated you, so I'm gonna stop mistreating you. How many people you know that do that? Like most people, like they mistreat people out of opportunity. So it's like if I'm gonna mistreat people, I'm gonna mistreat people because they keep letting me mistreat them. And it's like when people stand up and be like, "Nah, fuck you, you ain't gonna keep mistreating me." Like, oh well, you know, okay, well now we have a different narrative now because I was just gonna keep doing that, but now here's like you pissed me off. And I don't know if you saw the video of the young lady who was talking about she was talking about how people talking about burning down our own communities, and she was basically like, she said nothing belongs to us. We're not burning down.
I saw that.
We're not burning down our own communities.
Fire. Matter of fact, I could blast it out to everybody.
Yeah, burn that shit to the ground because it doesn't belong to us anyway. She talked about Monopoly, like an unfair game of Monopoly. She said, "You've played 400 rounds of Monopoly and you haven't given us any money or any property." And so you want to look at us because we're not winning. And then for the next 50 years, you gave us a little bit of property and a little bit of money, but and then you took away from us what we already had. So you're playing unfair games of Monopoly. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go longer than everybody else. But I've been kind of holding that in for a long time about kind of the respectability and like they're not the people that we're trying to get on our side, or they don't care about which way the protest is. They just care about the protest.
Right.
They want things to go back to the way it was before all this happened, where basically if black people were mistreated, everybody just shut up about it. And that's what they want. And it's not going to change until people are like, no, that's what protest is about. You know, because they're like, well, don't protest at this. Don't protest. Go home at curfew. It's like, well, if we go home at curfew, then that's really takes the protest out of it. That's just basically an organized meeting. Protest is supposed to disrupt. It's supposed to stop the status quo. That's why people get out on the highway.
Interrupt what the fuck you got
to
going
make you
on.
uncomfortable.
Make you
jump in front of that. Look at this, because otherwise, if I do it so quietly, you could just keep on going on with your life like this shit isn't happening. So that's what I got. Sorry, didn't mean to go off like that. But go ahead, Jordan.
It's cool. Mark, you asked me a question again. You said, why you think the protests turned into rioting and looting? That's the original question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Question. I don't know if Mark can't hear or what.
Okay. So I guess I'll say firstly, I don't think that I think the looting is separate, but the riot, I kind of look at it like, all right, well, it's not like we had the means to just go to war with the police force. So it's kind of like when you a kid and your dad just beat your ass and you can't whoop his ass, so you just punch a hole in the wall because you fucking mad. Like, you gonna want it. This shit is building up and it's gonna go somewhere. So like, obviously you do have opportunists mixed in the mix, but all in all, it's like, yeah, we can't just start doming cops out here. So what you think gonna happen?
Right. Fucking up property.
Now, as far as how I feel about that, it's kind of like, if you look historically, like a riot is like, this how fucking white people celebrate winning championships. Usually when black people riot, it's always off some injustice fucked up thing, because black people know the consequences for us is always steeper and quicker than everybody else. So by the time we get to riot and it's like, shit, what's left? You're gonna have to kill us because fuck it. This shit is not right, bro. Now, as far as the curfew thing, I kind of get it because I don't know, y'all don't live in Chicago, but you may not notice, but like last weekend, the Latin Kings was like literally like beating up, murdering black people, bro, in the street.
I saw that. Yeah,
like,
I saw
it was
that shit.
fucked up.
Wait, Jay. Hold on, wait, Jay. Let me stop you for 1 second. Was it?
Don't stop me. Don't stop me.
Oh no. Okay, no, you're right. Go ahead. No, you're right. You're right. Go ahead.
Now it's speculation for the reasons why that happened. Some say it was in response to a store owner who was defending himself from the rioters who got shot. I've heard other people say there was like
they working with police
that was murdered behind bars and by like a BD or some shit, and they were just moving on blacks. I've heard a few different stories. Regardless, I don't give a fuck. That don't got shit to do with regular civilians. Whichever story.
Did you hear the story about they working with police though?
Yeah, no, they were. They definitely was. I saw that on video firsthand. Like the police pulled up on them. They had bats out. They was throwing gang signs. They was out there like 40 deep, bunch of Mexicans. And all the police said was, all right, guys, don't get in any trouble, and just drove off. And I'm just like, bro, this is exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, the police treat just a car with fucking 2 black guys smoking a blunt like it's a bigger threat than 40 fucking Mexicans on the corner. Like, this in Chicago especially, bro, like, it's so segregated and so fucked up. Like, I totally understand why things go left here, man. So the curfew, it made sense because people really was in danger. Like, I was literally watching them, like, throw rocks at just cars of black women driving by, throwing rocks, shit, all type of real horrible things. So that's calmed down a lot. And that's really the only reason I really even ended up protesting, to be honest, because my salon's in the Mexican neighborhood, historically Mexican. And I mean, it's more than Mexicans there, but, you know, that's their area. And
what neighborhood?
In Pilsen. So I was like, all right, I'm going to come out here, talk with the neighbors. I'm going to see, like, is it safe for my clients to even come here? Because I don't want nobody even trying to harm them on their route to get to the salon or leaving. So I went out there and I ended up marching with a bunch of Hispanic people, and it was good because honestly, like, I had so much fucking rage. I was on 10 over that shit. Because it's like, we always used to joke, like, yeah, you know, the race war is coming. Mark literally had, like, a whole stand-up, like, bit about the race war, and the shit literally hit. And we thought it was going to be white and black, but it ended up being black and Mexican, and it really pissed me off because it's like, we just going to kill each other off, and we still not going to get to the root of the problem that has us both fucking each other up.
Well, so you got the puppet master, though. You got the puppet master. So you said black and Mexican, but who's the puppet master, though? Yeah.
Exactly. And when you look at black people, Mexicans, like, the media just takes turns shitting on us.
Yeah.
It's either they want to deport them or put us in jail. It's like, come on, man.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I got to say.
Well, I just wanted to comment on it too. I always felt like riots, whenever there's a protest, I always believe that, you know what I'm saying, a riot is right around the corner. It's like, it's almost like, because if it's something, usually if you protest and it's something that you have a strong emotional attachment to, you know what I'm saying? So with those emotions flaring like that, it's easy for somebody. And then the police, okay, so I was thinking about this the other day. Like, a police officer, I saw a video where a police officer asked one of the protesters, why did you show up to a protest with a bat and he had some other stuff inside of it. And it's a bat, I think it's a brass knuckle. Damn. And so, but I wanted to reverse that to the police officer and say, but all of y'all are in riot gear. Why would you guys are attacking this too in it? Because you show up with your gun, you show up with your football helmets on, you show up with your shields, you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, that's kind of you showing up ready for a fight too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it heightens everything.
Yes. If it's supposed to be a protest, it's supposed to be a protest. You know, but you come in and it's like, you know, that everybody's coming ready. It looked like everybody's coming ready for something more than a protest. And so I think I always thought like rioting comes with the protest. And looting just comes with rioting. Like, they all go hand in hand. And, you know, and it's all American. All of that is American. It's American. It's as American as apple pie.
It's
looting,
super American.
rioting, you know what I'm saying? Racism, you know what I'm saying? It's all American. So that was just my thoughts on that. Next question is, since Keith is absent right now, Chuck, we're going to go straight to you on the next question. What do y'all say to, we all got that Facebook friend, and some of us even got, like, real-life friends. Sometimes our Facebook friends aren't our real-life friends. They're just people we know. But anyway, we all got that social media friend that says, what about black-on-black violence? Why, you know what I'm saying, why aren't, you know what I'm saying, why don't you do something? Should that be approached first? Why don't you do something about that first? Keith, since you're back, what do you say to that? What's your response to that?
Well, I used to be like really explanatory, man, but I'm just growing less and less patient and more confrontational. I just tell them like, yo, man, you're not finna distract me from what we're here to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about there's no such thing as that. So it's really this issue. Like these 4 cops that fucking stood on this man's neck for 8.5 minutes, when none of them black. So I don't know what the fuck you talking about. And like I've also started unfriending people, which I don't know if I really want to do that because now that
Hey,
you see
Loki, I
shit
do
that
think
I
one of them is
post.
black.
Yeah,
But keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah. One of them looked mixed or whatever.
But yeah, my bad.
But yeah, so that, and I started unfriending people, which I might want to refriend them again later, but right now I'm kind of hot. That's it.
Right now, you don't want to deal with our family.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Same with me, man. Like, man, I ain't got time to be explaining, man. Motherfuckers be doing that shit out there. They already know, man. Ain't no more. And I be seeing even black people be saying that, man. Some people, man, like, and they don't have it.
That's
When
the
black
worst.
people get murdered by each other, man, they held accountable for that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And there ain't no black on black 100%. White people kill each other. They live with them. Mexicans kill each other.
It's proximity.
That's just something the media spent that shit and people be running with that shit. Even when people be coming with that shit, that be shit that they hear, man. I don't be trying to debate people that you just say with the media, whoever said that shit, you just repeating the shit they said, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got your shit together with music, with any of that type of stuff. Like, I'm not about to go back and forth with you, you know what I'm saying? So,
For sure.
about it for me, man. I ain't really got to me. Like I was telling Kevin, when I posted on there, him and this other dude, man, the only white dudes I really seen like that was like understanding and like was riding for us like that. So, and I got supposedly white friends on there that supposedly my friend. I ain't heard nothing from them, so that's where they stand with me. You know what I'm saying? I could post something about some sports or anything, that comment on that shit.
Yeah.
When this shit happened, I ain't heard nothing from y'all. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they stand with me, man. So for y'all, motherfucking white people to speak up on that shit, man, I'm gonna show y'all love on there, and that's some real shit, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all gonna be losing people. Y'all really, you know what I'm saying? Y'all really around them, you know what I'm saying? So y'all family members, a lot more white people that y'all really see what they really. And like I was telling them to their work, I'm sad that this happened to the dude. But I kind of love when situations come up like this because you really see how like people really are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And how they think and stuff, man. You know, because I've seen a lot of shit from motherfuckers that like, oh, okay, this is how it really is, you know what I'm saying? But that's all I got, man.
Yeah, and I wanna clarify too, man, because I noticed that in this thing there's a lot of like white savior complex coming out. I've noticed that's very, very prevalent right now. That's not what I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
So me being asked to be on this
right.
this panel, I'm not trying to come in here and try to take over. I'm not trying to come in here and try to tell black folks how to feel about this. And so that's why I want to clarify that at first, because I mean I want to make sure that my comments are more supportive than
that
like,
shit
well,
genuine, man.
let
I'll
me
take
tell
it
you
as
how to
genuine.
do it. Well, you know, I mean, it's what was the original question, man? I'm sorry, man. I'm old and got.
It's all good. The original question is what do you say to people to our social media friends who ask like, what about the black on black violence? What about like, what do you say about like, should we be handling that first, or why is it that we only care about a black person being shot when it's a police officer doing it? What about all the black on black violence? That person.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you, like my simple answer is nothing. That's my simple answer, because at the end of the day, when they ask those questions, they don't want real answers to it. They want to be an antagonist. That's all it is. It's just like saying all lives matter. When people say Black Lives Matter, it's an antagonist. It's not a point of saying that I really think that all lives matter. And all lives matter wasn't created to say, yes, we believe Black Lives Matter. So in saying that all lives matter is the next
to be a
logical
rebuttal
step
to Black Lives.
It's right, exactly. So it becomes this issue of like, so my response to them is nothing. Because I'm not like everybody that's spoken before. I'm not going to go back and forth because they don't really want to learn. They want to antagonize. They want to bring up, you know, I mean, black on black crime. Like it's a media made up statistic. It's a media made up black on black crime, and not to mention, people are upset about it. Like there's rallies and you know, stop the violence campaigns and all this stuff has been going on for years. Like, and it's like, so it makes me want to ask them, it's like, why don't you ask your black friends? You know, why are you asking, you know, why don't you ask them about, yeah, why don't you ask your black friends when the next Stop the Violence rally is? Because it happens, it's always there. We know that there's been an issue, but then you also have to look at like the deeper seated things that have caused that to happen. You know, you're talking about, you know, disenfranchisement. You're talking about, you know, things that have been happening.
Redlining. We can go down the line.
Yeah, I've been talking to my white friends, and basically because it's like, I know, number one, I know they're not going to listen to me because they look at me like, oh yeah, you've just been, I know you wanted to be black, quote unquote, your whole life. You know, so you're just kind of bamboozled by black people. So we don't even really care what you got to say. So I, you know, that's kind of, in a sense. So I'll be like, if you really want to learn something about why the condition is the way it is, I said where you can start is watching the movie The 13th on Netflix. That's a great starting point for you if you really want to know. If you don't want to know, die in your ignorance. I don't give a fuck. But I said, if you really want to know about that, watch this movie, and you'll see how slavery transitioned to, you know, racist policing, and making these laws that, you know, loitering back in the after slavery was abolished, loitering became a huge crime, and they were sending black people to jail for loitering. So it became this issue of like, you know, you can make up laws, you know, and you can make up laws that specifically target, you know, certain people, so you can put more people in jail. So there's, like I say, do they really want to know the real deep root of it, or do they just want to antagonize? So again, my response to them is nothing, man. I don't argue with these folks, man. It's like, oh, I actually deleted a girl that's got a, like, I had deleted a girl that's got a white mom and a black dad, and she posted the shit about black on black crime today. I was like, delete. I ain't about to argue with you.
Yep, exactly.
You know,
don't work one back.
Name names, Kev, because I might be friends with her.
No, it's a Gymtown girl. You probably wouldn't know her. Yeah, her name was Robin McGuire.
You can go out there and get the shit yourself and find out. That's it.
Yeah, there's too much information out there for me to have to, because you're like I said, I'm not going to waste my energy giving you this, because I'm going to give you, if you really want to know, I'll talk to you. But when I see that there's like, because
they probably already got a response lined up.
Yeah, it's never constructive.
You know what your response is going to be.
Yeah, I'm not wasting my energy, man, explaining that to you, because all you want to do is get me all riled up, and then you're just going to leave me.
They don't want to know the truth, man.
Yeah. Yep.
They don't want to know the truth.
I'm sorry.
I don't know, man. When you ask that question, it's kind of like, I definitely agree with y'all. Like, it's apples and oranges. It's two separate issues, and the black on black crime, it's a lot of layers to that. But I don't know. I kind of just be feeling torn, bro, because when you even look at like how people treat it, like, you realize, let's say I go outside and get into it with a black dude, I get shot. This weekend, they just gonna say, "Oh, Chicago had 40 shootings, 13 dead."
Right.
But if a cop say your name, hashtag, and it's like crazy because both if you look at it, both of them are equally dead and equally black and equally valuable. But we sensationalize the shit out of a margin of the murders that are happening. Like, gun violence affects our community worse than any other community in the whole nation, and it's sickening. So I think we would see some real change if black people was fired up off these statistics. Like, we've almost accepted it like a normal thing, especially in Chicago. It's to the point now, like, when I first moved back to Chicago and I used to see those, I was like, bro, what the fuck? Now I'm like, oh, that's kind of low. 30 shit. Only 10 died.
Right.
Like, I'm looking at it like it's a fucking, like it's a scoreboard or something damn near. And it's fucked up, man. Like, it really does piss me off. I ain't gonna front, bro. Like, I do. And even when you look at it, when it comes down to policing, like, when you say like black people are held accountable for their crimes, like, typically yes, but in Chicago it's a little different. 80% of murders go unsolved here, bro. 80. You have an 8 out of 10 chance of catching a body and not facing no fucking consequences legally. Anyway, wild, you might get shot by the rivals, but yeah, 8 out of 10, bro.
Right.
Like, that's insane. And now there are people doing, like, when they say like, what are you doing about black, like, why don't you care? Like, it's literally like mothers against violence. Like, they fucking some mothers mother-sponsored neighborhood watch in Inglewood and in Lawndale and other of these high crime communities where the moms get out there and literally fucking hold it down. Like there are initiatives that are happening, but both things are over our head. Like Black people don't have the power by ourselves to stop police brutality and to stop Black on Black crime because it's both situations were created. It's kind of like asking a mouse, like, why can't you get out this maze? It's like, bitch, I ain't built the maze. And I still need to eat. So I'm going to do what I need to do to get to the cheese. It's just
they might not even put any cheese in there.
Exactly. Motherfuckers eating crumbs with fucking saltine crackers and shit. And killing each other over.
Hey, Chuck, can you mute your mic?
My bad, bro.
So, yeah, Mark, what do you think?
Mark.
What's up, Renata?
Can you give me claim host so I can control the mute and I can control all of that if you can give me the claim host.
I don't know how to use this at all.
I sent you a picture.
No, I mean send me the thing to claim the host so I can be the host. Right now you're the host. If you make me the host, I'll be able to control the muting and all of that. But I wanted to take a moment real quick to introduce Renata.
Hey, Renata.
Renata, this is Chuck. This is Kevin. I believe you know Keith. I think you said Keith is your favorite cousin.
I don't know Keith.
I'm not gonna hold that. I'm not gonna hold that against you because I know something was wrong with you at the time or whatever. I don't know. I'm not gonna try to. What'd you say? Explain what was. I just remember you said that Keith was your favorite cousin or something.
He is.
And I'm not going. Now we're not gonna even go into that. I'm not gonna hold any of that against you.
You're definitely
still a good person,
right? You're my favorite cousin too, so that makes sense.
So, but but the question was, Renata. Hold on, let me throw Renata a question. Renata, you're gonna be last now. So the order goes: Keith, Chuck, Kevin, Jordan, then Renata. All right. So the question was, Renata, what do you say to those? We all got those friends, quote unquote, on social media. As what do you say? What do you do about Black on Black violence? Why don't you guys handle that first? Or because it's not always white people. I know it's the Black people who said, why aren't we handling Black on Black violence first? And that was the question. Like, what do you say to those people?
Okay, whose turn is it right now? Who's talking?
You. It's on you.
Oh.
Everyone else has already went. You last.
So,
hey, whoever is cutting something up in the background, please mute your mic.
Keith is in control, but he ain't letting me be host. If he let me be host, I would mute everybody that's not talking. Keith hasn't done that.
Please mute everybody that's not talking.
You don't know how to give me host control, and we can't even hear Renata right now.
Yeah, she's cutting in and out.
Yeah.
Whole time. Well, it just stops.
Okay, so now I'm the host. All right, cool.
Early.
Are we still recording? Yep, we are still recording. Yep. Okay. All right, Renata, you there?
Yeah, but what is that?
What's that?
I said, yeah. Because my mic is muted. Okay. Okay, can y'all hear me?
What? Yeah, I can hear you. Everybody can hear you.
Okay. I don't even think we can start to address issues within our community until we fix the system that have affected our community and created the conditions that we live in. What I really want to say is, motherfucker, worry about yourself and let us worry about us. But we're not talking about that right now. Like, that's not what's killing us traumatically right now. You know what I'm saying? It's not what's giving us or contributing to our generational trauma. It's not what is continuing to have us raising our children in fear. Yeah, there's certain fears that come along with whatever neighborhood you might live in or environment or the certain lifestyle you live and things like that. But that's across the board with any race, right? And within any culture. But these outside influences, like, we got to deal with that first before we can start talking about the things that are happening within our community.
Okay, that's cool. I got a so how I feel about that is how I felt about that question, which was this is my response to a person on Facebook. It's basically sort of going what Kevin says, like, you crime is all about proximity. Like, you crime with the people that you live next to. But it's like, okay, it's not like the criminals in any culture, in any community, are part of the positive side of the community that are protesting. The criminals are going to be criminals anyway. You can't stop that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that, to me, it's like comparing apples to oranges. Like, why don't you stop? Like, I can't stop black on black crime. I am a positive black man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not out here committing crimes. I'm not out here. I don't pay my child support. But you know, that's something. Hey. Now, we're not gonna get into that. But no, I'm just kidding. I pay my child support. I'm not saying my black ass in jail. But that's neither here or there. The thing about it is that I'm not one of those black guys that's out here committing crimes. I'm not doing that. So it's like, it's not on me to try to be the person that handles that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you asking the positive people to take care of the negative people, but that's actually the police job. It's the police job to stop black on black crime. You know what I'm saying? Like, they should be out here stopping black on black crime. I'm not a policeman. Like, I'm just a positive civilian. You know what I'm saying? So that was my thing. But
if we're going to be held to that standard, then every other race needs to be held to that standard too. So the Italians need to take care of the mob, right? They need to check them and tell them to quit murdering people and stop racketeering, right? And we need to talk to them, tell them to start having drug cartels. Like, if we're going to talk about stereotypes, then we need to go race by race, community by community, and hold everyone to the same standards. We're the only people who, when we are murdered by another race, immediately have the blame shifted to us. The only race.
Right. Guys, if you are muted, you can unmute right now. I'm trying to unmute y'all, but for some reason, it's not letting me or whatever.
I was staying muted because other people was talking.
There we go.
The other thing about that too is, like, back to that stat I said in Chicago where 8 out of 10 murders go unsolved. A lot of people, for one, just don't communicate, don't deal with police, period, because of how trifling they do motherfuckers in Chicago. But also, too, it's kind of fear in the community. Like, you know, if you cooperate, it's going to be consequences. In the State Department, the state doesn't even have the means to protect you at this point. Like, I think Chicago only put like 40 people in witness protection or some shit last year, even though we had how many hundreds of murders?
Right.
So
I kind of got a follow-up question.
Redundant
My
question.
bad. I'm sorry, Jay. But I sort of had like a follow-up question with what. Okay, so Kevin kind of hit on it. Kevin's like, he don't feel like those people are trying to he don't feel like they're trying to get understanding. He thinks they just Keith said it too. He thinks they're just like time wasting trolls.
They're trolls, yeah.
So, but my question was, how can you tell, basically? How can you tell whether they're time wasting troll or whether they are asking a legitimate question that they're trying to get some understanding on? Keith, you could go first.
I got you. Because anytime they ask that question in and of itself, they're not looking for the answer. Kevin already touched on this. Like, that's like the Fox News talking point that that keeps them from talking about what we're trying to have the conversation about. So I used to think it came from a genuine place. That's why I used to try to talk everybody ear off it. explain. Now it's like they only say that shit because they don't want to talk about what you're trying to talk about.
Yeah, it's just like just a deflection, man. Like when with the Kaepernick thing, where he kneeling, they just try to spin it with the flag thing. Like, come on, you know that's not what it's about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They just don't want to deal with it, man. They deep down, they know what it really is. You know? Just like when they be like, oh, well, you say nigga, I can't say like, you know, nigger and nigga
Right.
two different things. Like, I ain't about to be explaining that to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know all this shit we know. Like, ain't no trying to train them or tell them. They know. They don't want to know. You know what I'm saying? They know. And they ain't gonna never let that shit go. That's just who they are, man. We tired of trying to explain shit
Anybody
to
else got anything they want to add to that? Kevin, Jordan, y'all anything that on this?
Yeah, I think I was, like, because my wife is kind of new to seeing a lot of injustice. She grew up very sheltered, so she kind of basically got her introduction to, quote unquote, introduction to racism when she started dating me. And so what I've basically been, talking to her, and she's very receptive and listening to what I'm, like what I'm talking to her about my experiences with my friends and my experiences with my kids and different things like that. And I said the key thing, I think, this is what happens with a lot of white folks when, and I'll be honest with you, in my younger years, myself included, when we were challenged, because like you always hear like the most common thing is like, well, I have black friends, I have black kids, I'm married to a black man, I'm married to a black woman, blah, 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 blah. So you hear that defense. And so so basically what you basically have said to them is like, you've challenged me and I hear your challenge, but this is all I've got. So they can tell you about me instead of taking it like, you've challenged me. Let me do some internal soul searching to see if what you challenged me on is going to should make me change the way I think. And by doing so, like with myself and doing that inner reflection, I've been able to actually change some of the things that I used to think. And like I say, even though I grew up, hanging around with I had a ton of black friends and I dated and married a black woman and I have black kids. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. That shouldn't be your only response to, well, because basically that's like the end of it. It's like, fuck you. It's like, well, fuck you, because I have black kids, so they can tell you. It's like, well, I'm not asking them. I'm asking you. How do you feel about this? What's your viewpoint on this? Because they can't speak for you, and you're not going to experience what they experience. So I think at the end of the day, man, that's the way that you can kind of tell it's the people that dig their heels in. When they dig their heels in, they don't really want to know. When you challenge that and you say, no, this is what I'm trying to ask, when you say, what about black on black crime? And you give them statistics or you give them answers and they dig their heels in, well, it's like, well, you calling me racist? I'm not racist. And then they start to like, do the, I'm not racist, checklist, So I think at the end of the day, it becomes an issue of like, I think being an ally and being in the support role, you have to always be willing to challenge your critical thinking. Challenge your thinking. No, you can't just fucking die on these islands of saying, this is how I grew up, so I'm good. No, you're never good. You have to always challenge yourself. You have to always evolve. That's this perspective that I've done with my life. I've had a lot of friends that have challenged me even in recent years. I have a friend who's very outspoken about violence against black women kind of going unheard. And she's really challenged me to really look and say, wow, this is really an issue that really doesn't get as much traction as when you see a black man get killed by a police officer, like Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor, it took all this time for her to get national attention. And it's like, it's crazy because her story is just as insane. So I think that
hers on video?
No, wasn't on video.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story was crazy.
It wasn't, there was a witness who survived. Her boyfriend was there with her.
Yes.
And he did not he actually got arrested. He shot at
for shooting at police officers. Yeah. And she has her police officers have not even been they're still working. They haven't even been suspended. Exactly. They're still on fucking job. Yeah. So I think that, like I say, that's where it becomes an issue of like not digging my heels in and teaching her the same thing, because she's learning, like, don't dig your heels in. When someone challenges you, take the time to say, I need to listen to what you're trying to say to me to decide whether I need to do something to better myself, and to listen and to continuously evolve. Don't get caught in that, like I talked about a little bit earlier. You were, going to a point where like, basically like a whole bunch of white people starting up these different groups and then trying to lead the groups and teach black people how to deal with their issues. It's like, you don't fucking know anything. You know things from a secondary. I don't know anything from a firsthand standpoint. I've watched my kids go through it. I've watched my friends go through it. I've watched everybody I know go through it, but I'm still never, I can take that off. Anytime I want to, I can take this off and I can be a white man in America. Anytime I want. Anytime I want. And that's where it's basically, that's where it ends. It ends to a point where I'm just like, all right, this is where I've got to be. And I can't sit here and try to act like I've got all the answers, because I don't. You know, I've got very, very limited access. I've got very, very limited experience with it. But the one thing I do have is experience to know what white people say when they think they're in safe company. And I can tell you right now, that shit is like, if you think the shit that you see is fucked up, man. Okay, that's it.
Right. No, hold on. Now let me go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay, two things real quick. What I got from what Kevin just said is proximity does not give you a pass. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, because of your proximity to anyone black or of another race, it does not give you a pass, and it does not give you total understanding of the experience. But also, I just wanted to know, Jordan, Keith, Mark, y'all being real polite because we got company, because I ain't never heard somebody ever get their point out.
No, we kind of got a little structure this time because we got a lot of people. That's all.
Plus we've already exhausted the topic now that we pretty much said everything we wanted to say.
Right. So here's my bad. Go ahead. Keith, I do got to Kevin sort of led into my next question when he
hold on. I
ain't
answered.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Jay. And, I appreciate if I wasn't a motherfucker, but that's all good.
He said so.
Yeah, we know different.
Question. Damn. But honestly, here's how I kind of look at it. So I relate to the white people who pose these questions, because if I had to look at it, I look at it like, all right, so when I started learning about the gay community and all that, I would say like all of these, like, you know, these ideas I had to them, like the gay people in my class when I was like in hair school, because I genuinely didn't know. Like, I used to say like the F word a lot, especially in high school. That was like my favorite curse word. Like, I would just remix anything I was about to say with that in front of it, and it'd really go ring off, right? So I let that shit slip one time in hair school, nigga, and I got my ass educated. And I was really appreciative for that, because I didn't realize people was really taking that to heart when I said it, because I looked at it the same way, like, all right, we say nigga all the time, and we don't literally mean like slave, ignorant, stupid, XYZ. So you should know that I don't mean this when I say that, but that's not always the case. So I think you do kind of you got to give people a certain amount of rope. So what I would say is, since we are blue in the face from explaining shit for years, like our whole lives, we've been explaining shit to white people, find like some videos.
It's not just white people we're explaining this to, though, too. It's a lot of black people who say the same stuff.
Yeah,
not just
so
white people explain that too.
Matter of fact, I have links I can give y'all. It's videos where these black women are breaking this shit down to the barest decimal of why it's racist and why you need to understand it. And you can literally just give them the information. If they truly want to learn, they'll take that time to view it. And if they just think if they just want to troll you, then you'll be able to differentiate it like that. But don't just say fuck you and delete them, because you might delete an ally. Like, honestly, we can't do this shit by ourselves. You need these dumbass white people to learn.
Right, exactly. We do. If we ever want to live in this harmonious environment where everyone sings kumbaya, we definitely gonna need everybody to get on board with it. But okay, so that I have two questions, and these gonna be the last two questions of the night. Do y'all want me to do them separate, or do y'all want me to lay them both? Because they both kind of ties into what Jordan and Renata was just getting at. I'm gonna go ahead and lay them both out there. So the first question is,
separate the question. Separate.
Okay, I'll separate them. All right, that's what I do. Right. Okay. So, Where, Kev, you might not really have much to say to this question, but this is the next question. Where does my bad, okay. So the question is okay, so what is Black people's role in, since we're definitely asking, I've seen a bunch of Black people tell their white friends, y'all need to be speaking up, y'all need to be doing this, y'all need to be doing that. I haven't done that because I don't necessarily, I don't have clarity on what that actually means. So I'm asking, like, the Black people now, what is our role going forward? Like, do we march with the gays? Do we march with the Hispanics? The pipeline, the Indian pipeline? I didn't see any Black people who gave a fuck about that. I mean, I remember hearing about it. I knew some people who went down there and did their thing, but I didn't personally go down there and do anything because it didn't directly involve my community. But so I guess going forward, we trying to say we want everybody to be part of this cause. So what do we do going forward? Like, you know what I mean, Keith? You go ahead.
Yes. Well, look, I've been like, Mark, you know, like me and you, like we go back and forth on like, you know, Black people need to be about Black affairs and fuck everybody else. And I've always been, you know, the one that like all minorities, all people need to be united. Everybody that's not really considered white, because the name of the game is divide and conquer. So like there's no way that we could go up against the machine by ourselves. And the same could be said for any other marginalized group. So I've always been of the mindset, you know, that we need each other. If that answers the question.
Yeah, it sort of answers the question, but I also wanted to know. So you agree with the I'm unfriending my white friends if they aren't talking about this? You agree with that?
Yes, I have, and I am picky and choosy with the ones I do unfriend. Like some of them,
I didn't know.
I might hang on to for whatever reason. Like if we go way back or whatever. But some of them, a lot of them, I'm just letting go because it's just, you know, noticing the pattern and that.
Is there any hypocrisy in there? Because there's other issues that you haven't shared or you haven't spoken on.
No. Just about every liberal issue, your boy was on top of it.
Okay, all right.
I mean, if nothing, because like most of the stuff I'm not out there marching. I have not marched, but mainly the stuff I do is just sharing links and educating people anyway. So,
all right, Chuck, you go ahead. I want to hear from you on this.
Man, I just think we gotta get ourselves together first, man. Cause Hispanic people, man, they really damn near even worse to us than white people are, man. I mean, white people are just more like a system, but like I live in Texas, man, and Hispanic people, man, Mexicans, man, they really hate Black people too, man. And they ain't and a lot of them don't be out there fighting for us, man, just from when the benefits and shit roll around, all of a sudden people come out, you know what I'm saying? You ain't see no Asian people or nothing out there riding and shit, but when shit start going good and we get these benefits, then all of a sudden they come out. So I think we gotta get ourselves together first, man, before we start jumping.
Okay, so you aren't unfriending any white friends if they're not speaking on this cause. Then
I'm only a friend if I direct something towards them, but and they, you know what I'm saying, they ignore it or something like that. Or only the ones I would unfriend is when I get on there and I see they spewing like shit, like the negative shit like that. What about black on black crime, all that shit. But the ones who just staying silent, I would have to come with directly at them with something and see how they feel. Like they ain't saying shit, which is fucked up, but they ain't go right to just that shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I still got some people I need to come up. Like Kev, putting themselves out there, you know what I'm saying, the other dude I know. But then I got white people on my shit that just ain't saying nothing about it. So I need to come directly at them on them, tag them on Facebook and shit like, where y'all at, what y'all think about this, then see where they stand. Then if they get to going wrong with it, I get rid of their ass. But just for not saying nothing at all, I ain't deleted no white folks for that yet.
Hey,
hold on, Keith, hold on. Kev,
Mark,
I'm not going to X you out of this. If you want to, go ahead, Keith, say what you need to say.
Okay, this kind of goes right in with that. That's why I jumped in. There was a link going around. I don't know if y'all saw it, but the title of it was, "These are friends you should delete." And then if you click on the link, it showed you all your friends who are Trump supporters or who like Donald Trump's page. Did any of y'all see that?
Oh, it did? No, I didn't see that.
No, I did not. I never got that.
Clicked it.
Yeah, so like I guess I'm more like Chuck, because I wasn't unfriending people that ain't said shit, but like if I see them, you know, talking down on the movement or saying that other shit, then those were the ones that I, got rid of.
They gotta go.
Yeah.
If you can fuck with Trump and all that, you fuck with Trump and all that shit, you gotta go. I'll let that be known on there.
Yeah.
And to the one more thing for me, for the last thing we were talking about with the kids, all like, hey, slave masters, they had black kids too, so they don't got shit to do with, oh, I ain't racist because I got black kids or whatever. But yeah, go ahead.
That's facts. That's facts, man. I would say, I haven't really been unfriending a lot of people just because, bro, we probably get about like 4 or 5 of these a year, like these major police shootings and shit. So I've been checked the temperature. Like I've kind of already cleansed my friends a little bit back when fucking Mike Brown happened. Like
that's Jordan. That's hold on, Jay. That wasn't the question. The question was, do you?
Oh, do I think we have some sort of obligation to like show up for them?
Yes.
Since like,
yes,
no,
for other people's
nope. Fuck them. Cause
hold on, wait. So hold on, wait. But you just said it's kind of
hold on. Let me answer the question. So when you said, do I have an obligation? That's the key word. Now, if I choose to do that shit, that's great. But at the end of the day, black people have been locked.
Why are we asking white people to do it?
You don't cut nobody
why
off.
Are we asking white people to do it?
We're not, though. We're not asking the white people to do it. We're not.
No. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
Not there.
Here's what I'm saying.
Everything else.
He has specifically, Renata. He has on Facebook specifically. I've seen it.
Yes,
that's
here's
what
I'm saying, bro. So I feel like by me not saying like y'all just gotta go off rip. For one, I don't do that because you need to keep your enemies even closer to your friends, bro. Like for us to just start kicking off all the crazy white people, I get it from a mental health standpoint because it's overwhelming to see this much hate and then see people you consider friends do that shit too. But to finish my point, I would say that black people have historically showed up. We've literally fought in wars. We fought in the fucking Revolutionary War. We came back and we still slaves, bro. Like we fought in World War I and motherfuckers
Civil
came
War.
here and couldn't vote. Like we show up in every fucking battle, any type of intersectional issue, whether it's being gay, trans, fucking. We was saying fuck Trump when he wanted to build the wall before he was riding on black people. Like
you saying we are you specifically doing this stuff?
Yes.
Are you going to bat? Okay, yes. That's fine. That's fair.
Yes.
Because I'm holding myself accountable now because I'll be honest. I don't go to bat for. I wasn't going to bat for other causes, and then that's why you remember me and you had this conversation. I literally called you and asked you, how do you feel about like I don't know if we should be calling white people out for not coming to the bat for this because that's not. I don't go to the bat for gays. I wasn't going to the bat when they was kicking immigrants when Trump was talking about running the immigrants out of the country. I was going to the bat when Trump was talking about building the wall and all that stuff that happened in the Civil War. I didn't have anything to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Just like the white people that say they weren't racist. Yeah, black people did fight in the Civil War. Yeah, black people in those days did do that. Mark didn't do any of that though. Mark and I can't stand on those guys' backs for doing that. I can't get any of the congratulations for that. So that's why I'm asking black people now, is that fair of us? And me being honest,
I got
that's
something
why
to say.
I didn't do
I got something to say on this point. Look,
hold on. Renata hasn't said anything yet, Keith. Renata hasn't said anything yet.
Jordan, have you finished yet?
No.
Jordan's not done yet.
But no. But to finish, I'm gonna just wrap this up because I'm gonna get interrupted again. I say that, to be honest, bro, like dead ass, this country owes so much to black people that it's honestly even a slap in the face for like another like group to even try to fix their mouths to call us out. Like, nigga, we didn't even ask to fucking come here. Think about that.
Right.
You dragged us here and dragged us through all this shit. Now you say, well, where was you at when we was marching for Mexicans? Bitch, Mexicans can go home. I don't even know where my home is. Like, it's a totally different situation. So no, I don't think we obligated. It's nice if it happened.
Man, that's a good point. That's a great
Renata,
point.
it's on you. It's on you, Renata.
Okay, am I unfriending white people? Honestly, I just want them to shut the hell up. I want them to quit trying to insert themselves in everything. They're trying to kind of like put the onus on us to teach them. Google that shit like y'all Google everything else. That's how I feel. Look it up. Y'all know the root cause.